Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Reasonable Doubt, Season 2, Episode 3. So let's get to it, shall we? I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all. All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you could hear it all throughout the store. This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so you remember last week we found out that Chanel is missing. So Jax hightails it over to Chanel's house. Sally is there as well. And you can imagine how Sally feels right now. I was like, girl, you can't breathe because you know your house fixing to go, right? Gots to be more careful. Yeah, Chanel not there. So Corey calls and he's like, did you find Chanel? Nope. She's nowhere to be found. God damn it, I knew it. That girl done took off with this man's money. Okay? Guys should have left her ass in jail, like Corey said. Of course, Jackson's like, no, that's exactly why she shouldn't have been in jail. It's obviously she's scared out of her mind or something like that. And I was just like, Jax, really? Corey's feeling is like, this girl ain't scared. She rich. Now, look, they got prelims tomorrow. So the problem is if the girl ain't there for prelims, then that means that they're going to put a warrant out for her arrest. And that is not going to, that's going to be a setback for the defense. So I was like, yeah, Jax, this is strike number 2 for you, miss. But then Jax is like, listen, let's not fight. Let's just try to figure it out. Let's work together. We want the same thing, which makes sure that Chanel is found. Okay, fine, but we need a game plan. Corey hangs up the phone. I was like, Corey, I know how you feel, man. I'm frustrated right with you. So, Jax is trying to find out from Sally, like, what happened when she came over here, to the house. And she was just like, well, she was, overwhelmed, understandably. She was just dropping off Jordan's bag. And she was like, well, what was in the bag? Maybe there's a clue in there. Okay, so they look in the bag, and it is it's the key for a safety deposit box. And, Sally was like, oh, I know exactly where this is. All right. Well, we got to be there first thing in the morning, get in this safety deposit box and see what's what. So Jackson, Sally, they take it on down to the bank the next day, get the box out, and it's paperwork in there. She is entrusting custody of Jordan to Sally. I was like, isn't there 2 kids? What about the other one, child? I don't know. But anyway, and Jax was like, well, that means that she was here recently. It's just now going to depend on whether or not it was before or after she killed JT. Because if it was before, that's one thing. But if it was after, well, that's another. So they're going to have to get footage of when the girl was there. But also, as Sally is looking through the box, she also finds pictures of Chanel, a battered and bruised Chanel that actually Sally took pictures of. Jax was like, did you know about this? Yep, she's the one, she's a photographer. Okay, and Jax is just so upset. When they leave from the bank, Jax goes to the car and she calls good old Lewis. Good old trusty, always there Lewis, okay? And, she's still upset. How could I not know? And he was just like, Jax, be easy on yourself. There's no way you could have known if she didn't tell you. But Jax is working herself up again. And Lewis is like, wait, do you have your anxiety medication with you? Nope. She told the girl, I'm going to need you to take them every morning. I'm just need you to make sure that that's a part of the routine. Brush teeth, wash face, take medicine. So now Lewis is like, well, let's do a breathing exercise, okay? Woosah. And you know what? After a couple of in and outs, Jax feels better. Lewis, what would I do without you? I don't know, Jax. So now Jax and Corey and Daniel, they're trying to figure out this whole situation. The money is a dead end. And she did the transfer 2 weeks before she killed JT. So now the question is, like, why is it that she didn't use the money that she had to pay her own bail? And I was like, well, maybe because she didn't want to bring attention to it. I mean, how you going to have all this money all of a sudden? I mean, either you got it or you don't, okay? So that's why they were raising that money. So Corey's feeling is like this child and took this money and ran. And Jackson's like, oh, no, Chanel's not like that, She's not a criminal. Oh, no, she's not a criminal. She's just on the run because she killed her husband. I was like, Jack, you don't even know what kind of person your friend is at this point. Yeah, it's me. Daniel was like, oh, hold on. He done hacked into the bank's surveillance footage and child, they see Chanel. There she go. Okay, but it looks like she's not by herself. And when she walks out, she touches the small of the back of the person that she's with. They was like, who the hell is that? Well, the plot thickens. We see Chanel. She's holed up in some motel and she's with Adrian. Remember the guy that I kept saying, now who is he? Because I wasn't really clear. The one that was from the game. Okay, Adrian. Adrian apparently is the man that she has run off with. She's, trying to disguise herself, so she gets a wig. I was like, girl, you're going to have to do something more than this wig situation. Your face still look exactly the same. But anyway, you think it's going to work? And, she goes into the mirror and she is just like, oh, I used to change up my look all the time for JT, hoping that maybe he won't go fuck other bitches if he feel like he got a new bitch every night. Okay. Didn't quite work. And, he comes over there all gingerly and tenderly takes it off of her head. He said, I like you better without it. Yeah, I like you better without that wig too. So he's all hugged up on her and he's kissing on her neck and everything. And then we get, you guys, what I would call a pretty steamy sex scene. Okay, this is the type of sex scene that we used to from this show. Not that shit from Lewis and Jack last week. So I was just like, oh, girl, it's like that. How old is this boy? Now, Daniel also found out, the kid, Adrian, he is a free agent. He don't have no money right now. It's just getting worse and worse here. Looked like they was planning to run off with this money. I mean, that's what Corey thinks. I mean, I think that would be a logical solution that I would come up with too. You act like you think that she's guilty. And he was like, listen, I'm not saying that the lady guilty or not. Okay. But you act like you trying to help a friend that's also a criminal. Like, what are you trying to do here, girl? I need to call the police. I need to alert the authorities. All right, because we need to do this the right way. We know this girl is on the run. Jax doesn't want to do it yet. Give him a little time. They still got till tomorrow. And he was just like, no, let me do my job. All right. I'm going to make sure that I take care of you, girl, and everything. But we can't just be hiding the girl off somewhere. It's just going to get worse and worse. So she finally relents. Well, back at the motel, after they done had, they good love making time, Chanel is thinking about this, and you know what? Maybe this ain't a good idea. Shit. All right, we already a day behind. I'm supposed to be in Mexico by now. Is this going to be good for me to run down there? I'm going to be out without my friends, without my family, okay, without you. I love you, Adrian. I said, oh, Lord, it's that love, girl. Is that what it's at? Adrian turns around and he looks at her dramatically and he's just like, listen, he's so sorry that he didn't meet her before that damn monster JT did as a broke college football player. Like, well, what was you gonna do? That child wouldn't have gave him the time of day, But anyway, he was just like, I love you too. And I'm in love with you. And because of that, I'm gonna hightail it on down to Mexico with you. What? Are you putting your whole life on the line for me? Yes, he just told you he love you, girl. He said he never gonna leave her. All right, just me and you. And I was waiting for the Tony song to come on. Just me and you. Ooh, baby. So back to Jax. So Jax goes to Sally and she was just like, listen, girl, I know that's your cousin. I know you was sworn to secrecy and everything, but I need to know everything that you know. And she was like, sure bet. It looks like Chanel then ran off with Adrian. They might be having an affair. She was like, with the kid? I thought she looked at him as her little brother. Well, absolutely not. That's not her little brother. That's even more alarming and concerning for us to think about. But even if it is a little brother thing, the public is going to look at it like they're having an affair. And if they're having an affair, then that might have been a motive to kill JT. All Sally want to know is what's going to happen to her house. She was like, well, girl, I mean, you put the house up. The damn bail full amount is $2 million. So now that she done ran, that forfeits that. That means your house fixing to go. And honey, I know Sally had the bubble guts. I said, girl, you fixed. She was like, I'm about to lose my husband. You probably are. You probably are. It was dumb that she did that. You guys last week was like, well, Roxanne, she probably felt guilty because she told the girl, to get prepared to leave. And I was just like, I mean, she told her to get prepared to leave, but that didn't mean go kill the man. All right. So Sally can't feel guilty for that. Prepared to leave mean, girl, pack up your shit and go. I know it's easier said than done, but I'm just trying to explain it to you how it's going to go down in court. So next we see Corey and Jax. Okay, they are now in court in front of the judge that I'm presuming is handling the case. Also, there is the DA Lucy. And they're just asking, hey, listen, our girl, she kind of ran. I know she was on bail and all that, but she kind of ran, and we just need a couple more days to try to find her. Lucy is like, absolutely not. That lady might be halfway to Mexico by now. All right. No. She is a danger to society. She might kill somebody on the 405. And they was like, you know good and damn well this woman is not no murderer. Okay. She killed somebody in self-defense. And now I don't know what fully came of that conversation, because next thing we know, we see Lucy having a press conference and telling the public that old girl is on the run and that she could be armed and she could be dangerous. So I was just like, well, I mean... I guess the judge was like, move forward. Now, later on, Lucy's in her office, and she keeps getting these strange phone calls on her cell phone. There's somebody calling and hanging up, okay? And she's sitting there in front of maybe what might be her law clerk or whatever, and the girl is just like, is everything okay? And she's like, I just keep getting these weird calls. She was like, yeah, whenever you take on big cases like this, you know, all the crazies come out the woodwork. You want me to get you a new SIM card, girl? Yeah, could you do that, please? So she goes to get the new SIM card, and Lucy, you know, just to be safe, she makes a call, some correctional facility, to make sure that somebody, I'm assuming, must have been a big time, you know, somebody that she put in jail that must have been threatening her life and, you know, halfway crazy, must have, you know. She had to make sure that that person was still in jail. And yep, he's still in jail. Okay. Hey, girl. Listen, thank you. I don't need that SIM card on second thought. But I was just like, oh, so Corey was right. Sis is running from something. And speaking of Corey, so what is the strategy now? We need to soften her up for the public, because you guys already know the girl is on the run. She done killed this well-loved football player. I'm assuming that the public is probably not on her side. So Corey was just like, you know what? I can talk to the people on my IG Live. You know what? On second thought, he got a domestic violence advocate that he's worked with in the past. He can talk to her on her IG Live, you know, and get all of the followers to watch. Nothing is better than swaying the public opinion, you know, before the court case. Well, Jax can't argue with that. Plus, Jax fresh out ideas too. So he does go on the lady's IG Live, and he really paints the picture that she is the victim. Okay, that she had suffered and maintained all of this abuse for years and years, didn't say anything, you know, and that's the reason that she did what she did. You know, women like Chanel, including this woman Isabel, who was a former client of his, is now sitting in jail, unrightfully so, because she was just trying to protect herself, you know. So he about sick of this shit, and he gonna make sure that Chanel is not suffer the same fate that Isabella did. The system is broken. Jax and Crystal was watching, and they both was like, oh boy, this boy's pretty good at what he does. I wish you'd let him do his job. Now the LAPD, they ain't playing. So they show up over at Sally's house, and Sally was just like, excuse me, why are you here? Well, they looking for Chanel or any clues that could lead to where she is. She was like, do you think that we would hide her in this house? I put up my house for bail. You think I actually would hide her here? She's standing right next to her husband. Her husband just looks at her. I said, well. I was like, girl, your husband actually did much better than mine would have, because right then it would have been a conversation. He was so shocked he couldn't even say nothing, you know. And then she kind of remembers what she said. I said, yeah, girl, your man, you right. The police was just like, well, it looks like you need to have a conversation with your husband. Girl, what else need to be said? Fitting to be homeless. I was just like, boy, Sally, I don't understand why you would put so much on the line. Your house with your man who already told you under no uncertain terms are we putting this house up? Girl. Now let's jump over to Lewis. Lewis is at the house. And you know, Lewis is always with the kids because Jax has this very important job that she's doing, you know. And Naima is that classic teen, preteen, wants to go out with her friends and do things. And you know, just kind of one of them old soured, surly kids. She wants to go out, and Lewis is trying to work, and, you know, she wants him to drop her off over one of her friend's house, and he was just like, I ain't got time right now, girl. I am in a Zoom meeting and all that, you know. The boy, the son got issues, too. Listen, Lewis just trying to make a few dollars here, okay? I know your mama's some big-time lawyer and everything, but, I mean, I'm important, too. So he goes and does his meeting, and, honey, I guess Naima had done took matters in her own hands, and since he couldn't take her to the friend's house, honey, she called one of her friend's mama and was just like, can you come pick me up? And so the mama came over there. All right. And Lewis was like, hey, girl, what you doing here? Jack's not here. Is it something, was she expecting you? And she was like, oh, no, I just came over here to get Naima. She said, that she asked me, could I pick her up? And he was just like, what? Naima. He's like, I thought I told you that you couldn't go over there. He said, nope, you did not tell me that. You know how kids, they know, honey. They record that shit in their mind. You did not say that. You said that you couldn't take me, so I decided to call. Okay, well, you know what? You ain't going nowhere. Not today and not for a couple of weeks because you on punishment. Take your ass to your room. Okay, so she storms off and the friend mama was just like, honey, I'm sorry. I understand. Okay, I wish I could tell you it gets better, but it don't get better. Now back to Daniel. So Daniel's still investigating, and his ex-girlfriend, she's the lead at the police department. He gonna run over there and see if he can get her to run these plates because they got like a small little sliver of the plates of the car that that Chanel and Adrian are in. So he goes down to the police department and, he's just like, I'm going to walk on back here and talk to her. This is perfect excuse for him to talk to the girl. And the police stops him at the desk and was just like, oh yeah, she gone. She don't work here no more. Where she went to CIA, FBI. Listen, honey, Daniel, I'm going to need you to move on, sweetheart. Girl is gone. Okay. So you're going to have to try to schmooze up to this man here who don't look like he got much patience. Okay, he trying to find out, some information on this plate. And the man at the desk is not really trying to help him or whatever. But when the man turns his back and he had pulled up something on the computer, then Daniel hurries up and writes down the information. So now he has the information that he needs. Now, you guys, it's clear that Adrian is a rookie player. Okay, Adrian was the mentee of JT. All right. They were very close. I mean, had Facebook page together and all that. All right. So everybody knew that JT and Adrian I thought this boy was just somebody that wasn't known, not no star, just a rookie player that no, honey, he known because he takes his ass to the convenience store. And, all willy-nilly, just out in the open, nigga, do you know you are on the run with a murderer? Okay. But you ain't got a hat or nothing. I guess he didn't think that he was already spotted. Okay. Anyway, he take his stuff to the cash register and the guy was just like, oh, Adrian Hunter. Well, you used to play for San Diego. He's like, well, you is good, man. You mind if we take a picture together? He's, oh, not today, big dog. And of course the worker is offended. Okay. Like, oh, you big time football player, huh? Rich. You ain't got time to take a picture with a fan. He was like, yeah, I'm rich and whatever he said. Whatever he said, it rubbed this convenience store worker the wrong way. You know what? That's fucking why Higgins ran your ass. You ain't no MVP player. Fuck you. Okay? He pulls out his phone and he starts taking pictures. I was just like, what is wrong with Adrian? Do you know how to not bring attention to yourselves? Obviously not, boy. He go and get in the car and he was like, we got to change cars because, he was made inside the store. Chanel, girl, I just wish you had thought this out a little bit more, just a little bit. So he calls his boy Dallas. Hey, Dallas, listen, I need another car. Okay. Something raggedy, some jalopy, nothing that's going to bring attention. We just need something. Nothing's fancy. Because this sky blue Oldsmobile that they driving around is not going to work. Now, Jax, listen, girl, if you're going to be on this case, girl, I'm going to need you to get it together. She looking at these pictures, honey. They working her up again. She about to have another panic attack. I was just like, oh, Jax. Girl, why you put so much on you? Corey comes into the room right after she's trying to come back down from it. And he was just like, hey, are you okay? And she was just like, I've known her since high school. How is it that I didn't know? He was like, no. Listen, domestic violence victims usually don't let people know. They're able to push that way, way down, especially to the people that they're closest with. Don't be so hard on yourself, Jax. There's nothing that you could have done. And then she just goes and she hugs him. Okay, and I'm not talking about the church hug, baby. I'm talking about full hips involved, all up on the man, real close, like I said, And of course, now Corey is a man and Jax is a good looking woman, and here he is looking like, oh, it's like he didn't know what the hell. They hugged for a long, tender, very inappropriate amount of time, if you ask me. Okay. And then finally, when they break apart, Corey still kind of got shock on his face. And she was like, thank you, Corey. I needed that. And she just walks off. And he was just like, yes, nigga, let me fix myself, okay? And he just kind of looks at her. I said, oh, Jax. Knowing Jax's history, baby, you ain't slick. So now that Jackson got her faculties back together, her and Crystal are sitting around and they're just trying to figure out, like, what should they do next? Maybe quietly leak the pictures. You know, people don't like to see women beat up. That might work. Maybe it would, except Daniel, who's out there still investigating the case, finds out that, hold on, y'all, I gotta turn on the air. It's hot. Shit, it's morning time. Why is it so hot in this house? Ooh, it's hot. Okay, where was I? Okay, yeah, so they're trying to figure out if they should leak these pictures and, you know, except one small problem. Daniel's listening to the police scanner or whatever, and he finds out that the police now have the location of where Chanel and Adrian are. They're in Carlsbad. You know what? He hot on their tail and everything, but he not really equipped to be taking down no damn football player. So can you guys come on? So while Jax is on the phone with Daniel, Corey is over there taking a phone call. He gets off the phone and she was just like, what's that about? He was like, oh, just for another client. What's up? And she was like, we got to go down to Carlsbad. I was like, now, who was you on the phone with, Corey? Is it something that we need to be concerned about? Now, back to Dallas. Dallas is sitting in the car, and he trying to, you know, make the calls that he need to make for his boy Adrian to get him another car. Police walk up. Hey, I need your license and registration. Sure, officer. Is this your car? Yep, it sure is. Okay. I see you got some weed over there, even though weed is legal here, but you cannot drive under the influence. Okay, sure thing. He already knows that. All right, he wasn't about to drive nowhere. As a matter of fact, he was about to get out. Okay, well, get out the car for me then. All right, as soon as he gets out the car, you under arrest. You got a warrant. He's like, oh, officer, I can explain. I said, Dallas, be quiet. Okay, he said, yeah, you got a warrant out for assault, unless there's something else you want to tell us. He was like, nope, I sure don't. So now Dallas has been arrested, which means that Adrian and Chanel, they will not be getting the car that they need. You know what? I got that wrong. Daniel found out that they were running to Carlsbad. The police at the time did not know. So that's why Jax and Corey was on their way down to Carlsbad trying to get her first. But as they're driving down to Carlsbad, that's when Daniel finds out on the scanner that the police now know where they are. Okay, so it's just like, shit, you know, we got to hurry up and get there. What can we do? So they call Lucy. All right, Lucy, listen. We know you probably in the best position right now. You know, you guys know where the girl is. You know, the cops going to get down there. It's going to be a surefire victory for you. Except, what if it don't go that way? You know, as they get closer to the border, you know, things going to get more and more dicey. And then, you know, we're going to get down there and it could be a full-blown shootout. It could be a big mess. You can have Black Lives Matter on your phone. Like, do you want that? Okay, Chanel might die a martyr, you know, and this is kind of shit that'll run you right on back to wherever you came from, Las Vegas. Well, we know that Lucy ain't trying to take it back to Las Vegas because of Mr. Peter Thompson. That was the man's name, the one that's in jail, you know. So she was just like, all right, you know. But the police was like, oh, we coming too, though. It's gonna be 2 cars, and Jax was like, fine, no sirens, okay. So they hurry up and get down there. Now, Chanel and Adrian, you know, they just sitting in the middle of a fucking parking lot, just out in the middle of the damn way. You know, where is Dallas? He was like, let me call him again. And she was like, man, I knew this was not a good fucking idea. You should have been knew that, girl. I could have told you this. So, you know, Adrian is trying to call Dallas, and then he see a car pulling up. Oh, I think that's him right there. Oh, yeah, that's him. You know, get everything. You know, she getting all her stuff together. And then the sirens start flashing. She was just like, oh, my God, Adrian, what do we do? Girl, you get arrested and you take your ass back to jail. Jackson, Corey, they pull up. The police pull up. And, you know, Jax jumps out the car. And she was like, I said no sirens. She runs up to Chanel, and she was just like, Chanel, you know what? You cannot do this. What do you mean you can't do this? The girl has already done it. Chanel is having this look on her face like, maybe. I said, girl, please don't run, because it's going to be awful for you to get shot down in this parking lot. Okay. So then Jack says, have you ever felt like you're drowning beneath the surface? I promise I won't let you drown. And that must have been what it took to get to Chanel to change her mind. Okay. So the police come in, and, you know, she just holds on to Adrian. No, I love you, no. I mean, I understand, you guys. Emotions is very high right now. You know, things is hot, okay? I understand that, you know. But I was just sitting there looking like, girl. Do you guys feel sorry for Chanel? I don't know how to feel about her yet, you know, because I still don't know, you guys. But anyway, she right back in jail. Okay, so Jax goes to visit her. And, you know, Jax is having this internal battle with herself because she feels guilty. This is my girl. Why didn't I know, you know? So she goes to see her, and she was like, girl, I saw the pictures. Like, my bad. I am so sorry. Like, how is it that I did not know? Jax want to know, why did she run? And she was just like, well, because nobody was believing me. And she was like, and not even you, Jax. Like, I've seen you defend like the worst of the worst criminals. At least that's the way it looked to the public, and you always believed in them, and you always defended them. And when you started having questions, that made me realize that I ain't really got too much of a good shot in this. You know what? So maybe I'm gonna take this 30 million. She left that part out. So did Jax. I mean, they are in the, you know. But she's like, you gonna take this damn money and get gone. Jax is like, okay, well, girl, listen, I'm sorry. Okay, but don't worry, I'm not going to doubt you no more, because I'm getting back on this case. Okay, whatever it takes, I got your back, girl. So she goes back to the office, and she sits down, and she's talking to Corey, and she was just like, Corey, I think it's obvious that I need to be on this case. And he was just like, no, you want to be on this case. Yeah, well, I mean, same thing. He was like, Jax, let me ask you a question. Do you think that I can't win this case? And she said, no. He said, okay. He said, listen, I need you to understand that if I bring you back in, you're going to be second chair, and I am running this show. Okay, we don't need no more shit like this Bill debacle that you guys had. All right? Absolutely. Okay. He was like, welcome to the team. And she just gets up and she walks away, and he just looks after her. I said, oh, Lord. That look after her looked like he trying to figure out, like, is this about to cross some lines? Because something's telling me that Corey might be getting in a little too deep as well. But we'll talk about that in a second. So Jax takes it on back home. And she was just like, you know, I was so scared, Lewis. Okay, like she's still beating herself up that she didn't know and all this. And I think Lewis understands where this conversation is going. Okay, I need to be back on the case. And he was just like, listen, if we are going to do this, then we need to communicate with each other. All right. Like, I was surprised that Lewis didn't have any pushback. I think Lewis knows by now that his wife is one of those ones, when she set her mind to it, she gonna do it. Either you gonna do it and be fighting, or we gonna do it and we gonna be fine. He's choosing to be fine with it. And she's grateful, because she really needs both of them to work. So, now, how are the kids? You know, he was like, boy, let me tell you about your daughter. Okay. So, and you remember the son is sick as well. So she goes in the room, and she was just like, hey, how you feeling? And he was like, oh, you know, he ain't feeling all that well. He has this book, this child's book that she used to read to him when he was little, you know, when he wasn't feeling well. And she was just like, oh, I remember when I used to read this to you. And he was like, you know what, Mom, you seem so sad lately. You know, maybe you need to read this book now, make you feel better. Okay, listen, kids be watching, and her kids are old enough to understand the situation pretty clearly, you know. So that's when she realizes, like, okay, I need to tighten up. I said, yeah, girl, pull up the slip. Okay, make sure you take this medication. Let's jump on over to Sally. So Sally's husband, honey, he bring himself on home. Apparently he been gone all day. Okay. Where have you been? I know you're mad, but I didn't expect her to run. I did what I had to do. That was my cousin. I had to help her. He was just like, yeah, it's all these eyes. But there's no I in team, girl. This house is ours. Which means that if we don't come up with the full bail amount right now, which is $2 million, and you know you ain't got and I ain't got either, You know, she's like, well, I know that we can do something. You know, I can have my retirement, and I'm sure I can ask my parents to help us. He's like, oh, it's us now, huh? Oh, yeah, it's us now that you got all these problems, but you couldn't even be bothered to tell me. She was like, I'm sure it's all going to work out, you know, but please come to bed. And he did that old classic answer that usually lets people know that you ain't fucking with them no more. Okay, he was just like, I'm good. When motherfuckers say I'm good, that means that they, whatever that you trying to get them to do, they about to do the opposite. He ain't going to bed. He fixing to go lay his ass on that couch. I said, girl, you about to lose it all for Chanel, who put you in this position. Even though Chanel didn't ask her to do it, I don't even know if Chanel knows that that girl put her house up, now that I think about it. You know, so really this is all on Sally. We can't even blame Chanel for this one. Now let's jump over to Corey. Corey goes to the jail, and remember the client Isabella that he was talking about? Well, he goes to visit her. And you know what? Corey is still hard on the case. He working on appeals. He trying to get Isabella out of jail, and Isabella is trying to explain to him, listen, you done did all that you can. Okay, it is what it is. I am here. I am in jail, and actually I'm better off now than I was even when I was with that fool. Okay, so it's all good. Stop worrying yourself. You about to run your pressure. Corey is just like, absolutely not. He has to do this. He needs to do this. He's the reason that she's in there. I don't know if that means that they had a relationship. I don't know if that was just because he was a lawyer and he didn't put her, you know, didn't ensure her freedom. I don't know what that meant. Whatever it is, Corey is very, very much determined to make sure that he is still there for Isabella, which is now why it makes sense that he has so much patience for Jax. Because I think anybody else would have been went off on Jax. But now we see why, because he understands where Jax is in this whole situation. When you are too close. He was too close to Isabella. Jax is too close to Chanel. But all this is intertwined together, you guys. Boy, the plot definitely thickens. And lastly, you guys, we see your boy Adrian. Now, they didn't let Adrian go because Adrian had a license for his gun. I said, so he don't get in trouble for aiding and abetting the criminal? I mean, I guess not. Okay, the real Rockstar lawyers, y'all can let me know. I mean, you can just, the man just free now? Anyway, he walking out the precinct, and here comes this big SUV pulling up. It's dark, it's nighttime, it's all your classic, you know, not good. So the man rolls down the window. He's, oh, Adrian, boy, it's good to see you. You know, out. It's a good thing that they saw that you had a license for that. That gun was registered. You had a license. Were you able to deliver? And he was like, nope. I need some more time. I said, Adrian, what is this? I thought you just told that girl that you was in love with her. You mean to tell me that you got some other kind of thing happening undercover? Oh, I knew it. He was just like, well, you know what? Why don't you come on and get in the car with me and we can talk about it? He said, no, that's all right. I'm good. I'm going to take a cab. He said, nope, a cab is too dangerous. Right? In other words, get your black ass in this car. So he gets in the car and he says, so we got a lot to talk about. Like, you know, how the fuck I'm going to get my money? And then the show ends. And I was like, so Adrian, does Chanel even know that this money was like, what is happening with this $30 million? I mean, Adrian would have no reason to have access to $30 million of JT's money. But then JT and Adrian were very, very close. Like, I don't know what that might mean. I mean, it's clear that Chanel probably don't know that Adrian got money problems right now. And he's got men in big SUVs following him around town asking for their money back. Okay, so there's that. I'm just like, oh, Lord. Just when we thought Adrian, I never thought Adrian was on the up and up. Let me not lie. Okay, that nigga ain't been right. He had the ain't been right look about himself the whole time. I said, Chanel, girl, you didn't let this young man with this big, strong ding get you to thinking wrong. What is wrong with you, girl? All right, you guys, that is it. I'm gonna get on off of here. Listen, Power starts next week. Back to these fucking weekend videos. Y'all don't know how much I hate. Well, you do know. I'm sure you guys know. I hate doing videos on the weekend. So the plan is to get them done on Friday and then upload them Saturday and Sunday. Okay? Reasonable Doubt Saturday. Power Sunday, or they both might come on Sunday. It's just gonna depend, but y'all, we gonna stick to this schedule. Anyway, let me get off of here. Make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm Roxanne. The channel is itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right, all right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Till next time, Roxstars. Bye.